Hi there, it's Llarold, and today I want to talk about how to level to 60 really quickly in patch 10.0. I put out a video about a month ago about leveling with the Winds of Wisdom buff prior to the pre-patch coming out, and most of what I said in that video is actually still true, but Blizzard did make a few unexpected changes, so I want to address that since I had said I would back when I made that video, and I am not a liar. At the time, we knew that Blizzard's plan was when they added evokers to the game, they would also remove the 50% XP Winds of Wisdom buff and change the amount of XP required to level so that the leveling process was rebalanced to be a lot smoother and a lot quicker in the level 50 to 60 range. Technically speaking, it's, I think, about a 70 to 75% reduction in XP required from 50 to 60, so actually faster than the Winds of Wisdom buff that they took away. What I wasn't expecting was for them to remove the Threads of Fate leveling experience from Shadowlands entirely and retune it so that it would be a level 10 to 60 experience. I expected the latter part, but removing Threads of Fate surprised me. If you're on a character that had already made it into Shadowlands before Phase 2 of the pre-patch, then you can still do Threads of Fate leveling in Shadowlands content if you had already selected that and set that up. That isn't the quickest method for leveling, but it's not bad. I did a daily Torghast run on my Hunter and I got 80% of a level from it, 6 to 8 minutes, 80% of a level from the daily Torghast quest, decent. Spam running Torghast, on the other hand, is not even close to as good as it used to be, and none of that is my preferred method of leveling now. And that's because Blizzard also put out the pre-patch Elemental Invasion event when they removed Winds of Wisdom. The Elemental Invasion event is great for gearing characters up to 252 item level quickly, but it's also amazingly fast for leveling characters up to 60. And as a little bonus, once you hit 60, you already have a bunch of the currency you can use to buy yourself a set of 252 gear. I had been told the Elemental Invasions were a great way to level up, especially in some of the very helpful comments, so thank you for that. That got me curious about just how good they are, so I did a comparison of several characters that were below level 60, just to see. One quick note on the mobs at the Elemental Invasions: you have to kill the Primalists and their Elemental companions. They give massively increased experience. If you just kill like the Centaurs that are in the area, their XP rewards are still very low, even though they're scaled to your level and they have like a little buff that says touched by the Elementals or whatever. I hope it doesn't say that exactly, but either way, they will give like 200 XP, and then the elementals near them will give like 6,000. Also, here's another quick reminder: if you're leveling during the 18th anniversary event, remember to open your mail and get the consumable that gives you 18% extra XP gain for the entire event. I forgot to do that at a couple of points. Also, remember to turn on War Mode before you leave Orgrimmar or Stormwind. I forgot to do that on most of my characters as well, and in both cases that's just free XP being wasted. Now here are my results. I started out on my Hunter, who was level 58, and after about 15 minutes of flying around, handing in quests and trying to figure out my talents and just what I was even doing on that character anymore, I went to the Barrens where there was a water invasion going on. There's a weird bug with the water invasions specifically, where one of the elite mobs is level 60 elite, but all the rest of the NPCs are just scaled to your level, which is how all the other invasions seem to work. Those water elementals are very dangerous, and their name is literally just Water Elemental, so not very descriptive or indicative of how dangerous they are. Anyways, in less than 10 minutes I had leveled from 58 to 60. Ding. Pretty amazing. Let's try another character. So I went out there on a level 20 Fury Warrior, and Fury Warrior specifically is pretty weird below level 25 or 26. You don't get Rampage until 25 or 26, so you have these rage generators, but you have nothing to spend the rage on, so you kill really slowly. The class feels very strange at this low level. The level 60 water elementals aggroed me and killed me several times, which was pretty annoying, but the graveyard was pretty close by, so it wasn't really that big of a time waster. I wasn't super impressed by the speed at which I was leveling here in the 20 range. On my Hunter, I was getting like 3 to 4% of a level per mob, more like 8% for elites, but at level 20, more like 1 to 2% of a level. You know, 5% of a level per pack of enemies I was killing, so an average quest is about 15% of a level. 3 packs of mobs is worth about 1 quest. It was about the same as just sort of regular average questing. But the kill speed on this character was a lot slower because of the weird design of the class at low levels. I spent about an hour in the Northern Barrens. I leveled up 4 times, which is okay. I just wasn't super impressed by how this was working at lower levels compared to more efficient questing. I thought I would try another invasion just to be sure, so I waited a while and did it again as an Earth invasion, and it was totally fine. I was back to getting 3 to 5% of a level per mob, not including rested XP. I got over half a level in under 5 minutes, which is great. Super quick leveling. So I think there's just something wrong with water invasions. You probably can still level up faster in the level 10 to 40 range by doing a traditional efficient leveling route, like the one I talked about in the previous video, but going out here from level 10 and just staying until level 60 seems like an okay option. It's a little bit more risky, and actually getting out to an invasion is probably slower than just doing a normal leveling route, at least until you unlock flying at level 30. I did 2 more tests, one on my Warlock at level 48 and one on my Mage at level 54. I did both of these in a fire elemental invasion. I have absolutely no idea what I was doing on my Warlock, like negative idea of what I was doing. I didn't even realize that I was Demonology at first. I thought I was Affliction. Once I figured out what spec I was, I still had no idea what any of the buttons do. I let my Felguard die repeatedly. I'm just clueless and helpless here. Even so, I was halfway through level 48 when I started killing fire elementals, and 4 minutes and 50 seconds later, I was level 50. Ding. On the Mage, there were a ton of players and leveling groups at the event, which wasn't something I had run into on my other characters. They were tagging most of the mobs out there. Even so, I went from level 54 to level 56 in under 10 minutes. Again, the leveling speed is absolutely insane from level 40 to 60. So now that we have a broad collection of data, here's my revised pre-patch guide for leveling from 1 to 60. For level 1 to 10, you do Exile's Reach. You do it when you create a character, unless you are making an allied race character or a DK or a DH. Allied race characters naturally start at level 10, DKs and DHs start at level 8, and then have their own special little intros. Once you hit level 10, if you just want to be, easy with it, lazy with it, you go straight to an elemental invasion and you stay there until level 60. I don't think it's quite as fast, but it's mindless, it's easy stuff. You get a quest line as soon as you log in that guides you towards doing this from Abyssian and Khadgar in your capital city, and you should do that immediately. It gives you a lot of XP, and it's very easy. It just requires walking around and talking to people, and there's no level requirement. There's no doing Shadowlands requirement. You never have to go back to Shadowlands ever again if you don't want to. Many people don't. If you don't have a flying mount yet, you even get a flying mount through your extra action button that you can use to fly around while you're doing this quest to talk to the quest NPCs. It's pretty slow, but it's better than waiting on elevators. I recommend doing this quest line either way, and you can do elemental invasions starting at level 10, but I probably wouldn't if I was focused on speed. Instead, I would do the same leveling route I suggested in the prior video until you hit level 40. And if you want more detail on that process, I would recommend checking that video out, but for the sake of brevity, here's a quick rundown on how that goes. At level 10, you go to Chromie, and you set your Chromie time to Warlords of Draenor. It will be listed as the Iron Horde. Take the teleport in your capital city to the Dark Portal, go through it, and do the whole Dark Portal questline. It is extremely efficient, even compared to killing elementals at the invasions. Once you finish that, Horde and Alliance players go their separate ways. For Alliance, go to Draenor, stay in Draenor, level in Shadowmoon Valley and Gorgrond until you're at least level 30, probably level 40. Be sure you construct the Savage Fight Club as your building of choice in Gorgrond. Killing enemies with the zone ability active can make enemies drop quest items, basically a full quest's worth of XP for killing just one enemy of each different type. As Horde, you want to do the first handful of quests to set up your garrison, gather some garrison supplies, build your first building, and send out your first table mission and so on. Then it's time to leave Draenor and go do Silverpine Forest. You do the questline there until you're level 20. You actually do that with Alliance as well. For both Alliance and Horde, when you hit level 20, it's time to head back to Stormwind or Orgrimmar, train in faster mount speed, and turn on War Mode. Once you hit level 30 and level 40, you unlock flying and faster flying, so you want to go back to your capital cities each time you hit those 10 level milestones. Not at 50 though. Nothing special happens when you turn 50. Once you are level 20 as Horde and you've gone back and turned on War Mode and come back with faster mount speed, you can finish up Silverpine Forest and move on to Hillsbrad Foothills. Once you hit level 30, you get flying and so on. You want to head back to Draenor, fly straight to Gorgrond, and level there until you hit level 40. Again, be sure you build the Savage Fight Club as your garrison building in the region, it's great. do all the bonus objectives, all the really well-stacked quests, and you'll be level 40 pretty quickly. Once you're 40, regardless of whether you're Horde or Alliance, you want to head back to Stormwind or Orgrimmar, get max level flying, and fly to the nearest elemental invasion that's not a water invasion. Start killing primalists and elementals, and if there are any leveling groups around, ask for an invite. Once you're level 50, you can use the group finder tool and you can find leveling groups in the custom groups tab, but before that point, you can just ask in general chat or /say. Either way, whether you're solo or with a group, you can level from 40 to 60 in no time. And that's pretty much it. I think Blizzard has done a really good job with this pre-patch event. It's a great way to level up characters super fast and get them a good set of starting gear at the same time. Two birds with one stone. You can level up an absolute army of alts over the next couple of weekends, and it's pretty painless as long as you're not doing water invasions at low levels. Alright, I think that about covers it. Thanks for watching. Bye.